At 88 years old, Bill Cosby has shocked Hollywood with a big confession. The man once called America Dad has finally spoken about the actors he could never stand. In a world full of fame and smiles, not every friendship is real. Behind the lights, there are secrets, rivalries, and grudges that never fade. Cosby's life has already been filled with scandals and problems, but now his words have added new fire. When he named the 5 actors he hated most, people could not believe their ears. This revelation shows how bitter Hollywood can truly be. Before we dive into video, please subscribe to our channel. Bill Cosby's life is one of the most dramatic stories in Hollywood. For many years, he was loved by millions and was seen as a role model. He earned the title of America's Dad because of his popular shows that brought laughter and lessons to families. But behind the laughter, his life was not simple. Cosby faced many personal struggles. As he grew older, his career started to slow down. Younger actors and comedians took the spotlight, and he often felt left behind. This was not easy for a man who once ruled American television. Fame can fade very quickly, and Cosby felt the pain of losing it. But the biggest problems came from the many accusations against him. These scandals shook his image and destroyed his reputation. Once respected everywhere, he suddenly became one of the most criticized men in the world. He faced court cases, long trials, and even time in prison. For someone who once stood at the top, this was the lowest point of his life. During these years, Cosby lost the support of many people he once trusted. Friends left him, colleagues avoided him, and Hollywood distanced itself from his name. Even his old projects were removed from television. For a man who lived for the spotlight, this silence was painful. His family also suffered. They had to face the judgment of the world, and the stress affected them deeply. Cosby often spoke about how lonely he felt, even when surrounded by people. Today, at 88 years old, Cosby carries the weight of all these problems. His words about the actors he hated the most are not only about rivalry, but also about the pain of a long, troubled life. Now we talk about 5 names he dislikes from day one. Number 1, Richard Hall. Richard Hall was known in Hollywood as a strong action hero. He played in big movies filled with fights, cars, and explosions. His image was completely different from Bill Cosby's calm, family-friendly roles. On the outside, both men seemed successful, but behind the cameras, their relationship was full of tension. Cosby often felt that Richard Hall never respected him. On movie sets and at award shows, Richard would make small jokes about Cosby being too old-fashioned or not tough enough for Hollywood. At first, Cosby ignored these comments, but over time, they started to hurt. Cosby was proud of his work in comedy and family entertainment, and he felt Richard's jokes were an attack on his entire career. Things grew worse when the two competed for a role in a big television project. Richard openly said that Cosby could never carry such a show because audiences wanted new faces and stronger actors. Although Cosby still had his fans, these words spread around Hollywood and damaged his confidence. Cosby believed Richard wanted to push him out of the industry. Another problem was their difference in personality. Richard Hall was loud, bold, and often rude in public. Cosby, on the other hand, tried to keep a clean and respectful image. This clash of style made their meetings very uncomfortable. Even when they had to appear at the same events, people noticed the cold air between them. Cosby carried this bitterness for years. He believed Richard Hall represented the type of Hollywood star who looked down on him and never saw him as an equal. At 88, when Cosby finally spoke about the actors he hated the most, Richard Hall's name was first on the list. For Cosby, the disrespect was unforgettable. Number 2, James Turner. James Turner was a young comedy star who rose to fame just as Bill Cosby's career was starting to slow down. With his fresh jokes, modern style, and youthful charm, James quickly became the favorite of television audiences. Networks and producers began to call him the new face of comedy. For Cosby, this was painful, because for decades he was seen as the #1 name in family entertainment. Cosby often felt that James Turner was promoted as his replacement. Interviews and magazines compared the two constantly, calling James the next Cosby. But instead of respecting him, James sometimes made fun of Cosby's older style of comedy. He joked that Cosby's humor was too safe and boring for young people. These words spread in the industry and made Cosby feel mocked. The rivalry grew stronger when James got a sitcom deal that looked very similar to Cosby's earlier shows. The plot, the characters, even the warm family theme, everything reminded people of Cosby's work. But James was praised as original and fresh. Cosby believed that James had stolen his formula and used it to win over a new generation. Behind the scenes, Cosby also heard that James often spoke badly about him at parties and industry events. Some said James wanted to erase Cosby's name from comedy. Whether true or not, these rumors stayed in Cosby's mind and deepened his anger. For Cosby, James Turner was not just a rival, but a symbol of how quickly Hollywood could forget its heroes. The industry that once praised him was now ready to replace him with a younger version. That betrayal hurt deeply. When Cosby revealed the names of actors he hated most, James Turner stood firmly on that list. Number 3. Michael Hayes. Michael Hayes was a well-known drama actor who built his reputation on powerful stage performances and serious television roles. He was respected for his emotional depth, but his relationship with Bill Cosby was anything but respectful. Their clash started during an awards ceremony where Michael made a public joke at Cosby's expense. During his acceptance speech, Michael joked that Cosby's comedy belonged in the past and that real actors don't hide behind laughter. The audience laughed, but Cosby did not. For him, it was not only a joke, but also a personal insult. Cosby had spent decades building a career on family values and humor, and being mocked in front of the whole industry was humiliating. After that night, Cosby believed that Michael Hayes had something against him. Whenever they crossed paths at events, Cosby felt coldness in Michael's tone and expressions. Even though Michael never directly attacked him again, the damage was already done. Cosby carried the memory of that joke like a scar. The tension grew worse when Michael starred in a drama series that won awards the same year Cosby's projects were fading. Reporters often asked if Michael's success meant serious actors were finally replacing comedians like Cosby. For Cosby, this comparison was another reminder of Michael's words at that ceremony. In private, Cosby told close friends that he could never forgive Michael for humiliating him in public. He saw Michael not just as a rival, but as a man who openly disrespected him in front of the world. By the time Cosby revealed the names of the 5 actors he hated most, Michael Hayes was firmly on that list. For Cosby, the pain of public embarrassment never faded, even decades later. Number 4. Robert Collins. Robert Collins was a unique figure in Hollywood because he worked both as a producer and an actor. He was clever, ambitious, and always looking for ways to control projects. On the surface, he seemed friendly with everyone, but Bill Cosby never trusted him. Their relationship turned bitter after a film project that Cosby believed Robert deliberately ruined. The story goes that Cosby was once in talks for a family film where he would play a leading role. Robert was involved as a producer and later joined the cast as a supporting actor. At first, everything looked promising, but soon, behind-the-scenes decisions began to change. Cosby claimed Robert pushed for edits that weakened the story and cut down Cosby's role. When the film was finally released, it failed at the box office. To Cosby, this was no accident. He believed Robert sabotaged the project so his own reputation would rise while Cosby's declined. Their conflict deepened when Robert started spreading the idea that Cosby was too difficult to work with. In Hollywood, such labels can destroy opportunities. After these rumors, Cosby noticed fewer offers coming his way, and he linked it directly to Robert's influence. Robert's sharp business style clashed with Cosby's desire for control. Robert wanted power, while Cosby wanted respect. This clash created years of quiet hostility. Whenever they saw each other at events, smiles were fake, and the tension was obvious. For Cosby, Robert Collins was not just an enemy, but a symbol of betrayal inside Hollywood. He believed Robert valued money and control more than friendship or loyalty. When Cosby finally named the 5 actors he hated most, Robert Collins had to be included. The wounds from that failed project and years of distrust never healed.